Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows around world football this weekend. Chris Hamill sat to my right, and as ever, we start with the talking point. You guys at home voted for it. It's Chelsea.
Yeah, you could have had pods. I voted pods. Fed up of talking about the big boys, but, rigged, isn't it? If you've worked out the formula, let us know in the comments below. But alas, let's talk about the Blues because they've been in a terrible run of form lately. We're not going to talk about Manchester City because they're our first winners, spoiler alert. But let's talk about the demise of the Blues because I think most neutrals are enjoying it. Couldn't have happened to a nicer club. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games now, including 4 consecutive away matches in the Premier League. That is, this has seen them fall to 5th place, 5 points off of Tottenham, who are in 4th. So Europa League beckons, and never has a team been more deserved of the competition. Ha! Banter. Anyway, they were particularly bad against Manchester City, weren't they? They succumbed to Pep's masterclass. They only mustered 3 shots over the course of the 90, landing a big fat 0 on target. It's the first time Chelsea have had 0 shots over the course of the 90 on target since Opta records began. So, an absolute howler. Jamie Redknapp and co. placing the defeat squarely at the feet of Antonio Conte, which we'll see now in the VT.
That was such a hard watch. That was anti-football. That was a crime against football what they did today. I really felt that so strongly. I'm looking forward to this game today. And I understand that you think, OK, we won't play with a striker, let's be difficult to beat, but you have to have some intent. They've got good players, Chelsea. It was like they didn't want to go forward at all.
It's kind of hard to disagree with Jamie, I have to say. Obviously, they were extremely defensive in the match. They started a front three, didn't they, of Pedro, Hazard and Willian as well. And I didn't really understand the tactics at all. Why start that front three if your only option is to lump the ball forward? There was no counter-attacking on display. Hazard and Willian in particular completely isolated. Combined, they managed 8 completed passes in the 90 minutes. I think they each got 4. That is an absolute joke. Eden Hazard, not a happy bunny either. Him and Willian, I think, only combined for 41 touches of the ball. Courtois had 42. So that's not really good enough. It's particularly damning as well because midweek after the Barcelona game, he said, I really don't like playing as a striker. I might only touch the ball 25 times and 15 are with my head. That is not my quality. And it's hard to disagree. If you are just going to lump the ball forward, why not play a Giroud or a Morata? Morata didn't come on until the 92nd minute. Giroud in the 80th. Conte, though, kind of defended himself by saying some of this.
I think that I will start with the game to be more ambitious, to give the space behind us. The game can finish not 1-0.
But not one shot on target from Chelsea today. Is that good enough?
Good enough, but I don't think that it is for the tactics.
Right, so my opinion on matters, I don't want to churn out the same sort of stuff that the pundits were post-game, but one theme did come up and it was bravery on the ball. I think Cesc Fabregas, that's the most conservative I've seen him play for a while. Yeah. Danny Drinkwater sort of reminds me of Granit Xhaka, neat and tidy in his own defensive third, but I didn't see any raking crossfield passes, any surges from midfield. Kante would have brought that to the side, wouldn't he? He's very adept at breaking the press. He's very good at winning second balls, and he would have knitted midfield to attack much better, you would have thought, in a similar sense to that which they exacted on Barcelona, which Willian was brilliant in that game. Eden Hazard got a lot more involved when he went out to the left, didn't he? But even Eden Hazard dropped in this game and just couldn't find the pass. They had 2 number 9s on the bench, yes, but do you bring in a mobile number 9 on in the form of Giroud when you're lacking possession? Graham Souness said they should have missed out the midfield and just lumped it forward, but I mean, Manchester City were playing such a high line that I'm not sure that would have worked, in my opinion. You saw Zinchenko at left back. His average position was that of a left winger. Kyle Walker is so gas, he would have caught Giroud anyway. I think Morata, for me, could have made a bit of a difference here because he has a tendency to drop deep if he's not getting the ball, kind of help his team move forward. He's become a lot better as the season's gone on. Well, not recently, at sort of protecting possession, bringing players into it. But I just think they succumb to a much better side. And when you look at that bench, Chelsea desperately short of midfield options. Yes. Bakayoko taking a knock, he's injured. Not sure he would have made a big difference in this game. But maybe bravery on the ball, that midfield battle, and just how do you beat this Pep side at the moment? I don't think Conte has the tools at his disposal. And that's not me giving him excuses, but I mean, after 70 minutes, I was just, I was mopping the kitchen floor.
It was so bad.
It was, they were just walking around, weren't they? I've never seen Fabregas so ineffective on the ball in my life, just rogue passes
just
out to the wing.
60 yards.
But yeah, what were your thoughts on the matter?
I thought Chelsea showed City way too much respect on the ball. I think they gave Ilkay Gundogan way too much time on the ball.
Have you seen his stats?
Yeah, I think he completed 167 passes.
I think we're going to talk about that later, but that's insane.
But that's way too much time on the ball, and I think City just dictated far too easily. It's all well and good sitting deep and using a compact defensive system. That's fine, and it works effectively. But you've still got to put pressure on the ball. You've still got to work at an energy level, and you've still got to be willing to counter-attack. There was nothing in that Chelsea team that suggested they were willing to counter-attack. Every time a ball or an attack broke down from City, Fabregas just twatted it 60 yards out of play, and City started again. Gundogan picked it up deep, fed it into KDB, and he got to the byline. It was just nowhere near good enough on the ball from Chelsea. They were just lazy.
Although I feel, obviously the midfield was very close to the defence, and it worked for the first 45. And I just wonder if Conte's game plan was to do that until the 65th, 70th minute, and then maybe introduce some more attacking prowess. But they conceded quickly after half time, which kind of makes him look like a bit of an idiot. And then it's all of his eggs are in one basket sort of thing. What do you do after that? And I think the substitutes came on far too late, especially when Morata's only get me 1 point on fantasy.
92nd minute, mate.
But
92nd minute edition.
What does the future hold for Antonio Conte, Joseph?
Gone in the summer, in my opinion. Your opinion?
Mystic Meg.
Gone in the summer, definitely.
I don't know, but Liv's been out on the streets asking people. Maybe Joe Public knows. Over to them.
Hi guys, I'm Olivia and I'm here in Oxford Street to find out what you guys think has gone wrong at Chelsea Football Club.
In terms of yesterday's game, I don't think it's a true reflection. You're playing like the best team in Europe currently, so obviously you're not going to go out there and attack.
I think it's something about the style they play in, the Italian coach.
About Chelsea. What do I want to talk about Chelsea for? Score more goals. That would be.
They need to score more goals.
I think so.
That's genius.
Yeah. Thank you. They could afford Lars and I think they would be the best football players in the Premier League. Just call it. I think so.
Okay, great.
Or her. This is a good midfielder.
I think that Conte he should leave the club.
Actually, I think they need what do we call it? A good forward in Chelsea.
The players don't think they're going to win anything, so they've just kind of given up. Happens all the time in the Premier League.
Do you think the manager needs to go? Does the manager need to be changed?
I don't know, is his stock as high as it once was? I wouldn't say so.
I think if he wants to stay, he must stay. There is not a lot of managers like him.
I don't care about Chelsea, to be honest. That's
You're too busy worrying about Arsenal.
Yeah,
me too.
I'm not in favor of changing the manager every time something goes wrong. So no, I don't think they have to change the manager.
Who do you think could replace him? Who would be a good person to have instead?
They'll probably just bring back Ancelotti again.
I've got no idea who would be a good person to replace him. As a Spurs fan, I hope they get somebody really rubbish, but I doubt if they'll do that.
And do you think that Hazard is more important at Chelsea than Conte is?
I would, because you can't really replace Hazard, but you can replace Conte, in my opinion.
When you think of Chelsea, you think of
Hazard.
Yeah.
You don't think of Conte, you think of Hazard.
Nah, not really. He's like an idol for many kids, so definitely Hazard is more important than Conte.
Yeah, he's a completely different league than most other players.
So they need
Let's get them out of the way then. This suggestion comes from Daha_Skur, and Manchester City are the scourge of the Premier League at the moment, aren't they, Joseph? First winners. spin that.
Ooh, hell of a segue that, mate. Yes, that's right. They've got 18 points clear at the top of the league. That's the biggest lead in the Premier League since March the 11th, 2006, when Chelsea were 18 points clear of Manchester United. And this game was death by 902 passes because Man City completed 902. 71% possession. That is a joke. 902 passes, actually the most a team has completed in the Premier League since Opta records began in 2003. That is more passes than Phil Jones has completed in the entirety of this Premier League season, in a single game.
Such a rogue stat.
I know. Ilkay Gundogan, like we said earlier, completed 167 passes. Zinchenko from left back, 147. Otamendi, 119. What is going on? That is way too easy. City also had 13 shots on the day. I've had enough, quite frankly, of talking about them just completing passes, so tell me about something else, Hamster.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva, who Pato thinks he's got on the score sheet yet again for the Citizens, scoring in back-to-back games for the first time since May 2017. And to be fair, he was pretty wasteful in the first half, and I think he scored with the inside of his shin, didn't he? Never mind, they all count. Aguero left searching for his 200th City goal, though it's the first time he hasn't scored in 7 games.
Ooh, at home, I think, at home.
At home. Pretty impressive. He did create 4 chances for his teammates, though, but it was David Silva who picked up the assist ultimately with that lovely sort of whipped ball from the left-hand side. Merlin creating 3 chances. When I say Merlin, I always think the stickers.
I know, I used to love those as well.
Had a shiny David Dunn.
Taken over by Panini now, I believe.
What a time to be alive. And he had 3 shots at goal as well, did the Spaniard. And like we said in the prior section, the performance was much maligned by the pundits watching, including Gary Neville, who described Chelsea as mannequins and embarrassing. What we want to know is, do you think that criticism is fair? What could Chelsea have done differently? Let us know, you managerial maestros, in the comments below. Moving on.
Our first losers were suggested by Mihulj11ST, easy for you to say, on Twitter, and he said, unsurprisingly, Arsene the joke, Wenger, Hamilton.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I think Chris Hughton is doing a bang tidy job, but I think you're going to talk about the rather impressive Brighton, and I have the odious task of talking about Arsene Wenger yet again. Anyway, his side limped to a 2-1 defeat away at Brighton, obviously. Their first defeat to the Seagulls since 1982, 10 years after John Babb first graced this earth. Now, they are 13 points off of 4th place Spurs. Mind that fucking gap, Jesus. Goals from Dunk, who almost scored another own goal with a flailing right leg. Love that kamikaze brand of defending. Huge fan. Murray and Aubameyang completed the scoreline. All came in an action-packed first half. Second half was pretty dismal, although Brighton nearly hit them on the counter-attack 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Probably going to talk about that, aren't you?
I'm not sure.
Are you going to talk about Knockout throwing his toys out the pram?
Probably not.
Embarrassing. As is his fade. Sort that out. We've all been there, though. Arsenal have now lost 4 games in a row for the first time since October 2002, when they actually finished 2nd, which won't be happening this year, will it? And
no.
Sort of intimates the progress the Premier League has made. It's tougher at the top, isn't it, baby? But the Gooners still dominated possession, 68%, had 15 shots to 13, 7 on target to 6. And it was their first defeat in 35 Premier League games against a newly promoted side. Arsenal have been specialists, haven't they, sort of dispatching the weaker sides recently, but not to be today. Their record in 2018 thus far has been diabolical. They've played 14, won 4, drawn 2 and lost 8. Scored 21 and conceded 24. That's more losses than any other Premier League side. And the apathy builds, doesn't it? It's just terrible to see. Wenger is just chipping away at his own legacy. Joe, talking of, chips, Brighton chips off the old block in this game, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, obviously Chris Hughton will be a very happy man, and rightly so. What a job he is doing at Brighton. I, for one, thought they'd probably go down at the start of the season, but they now sit in 10th with 34 points. According to the average kind of points you need to stay in the league, they're around 37. So they're actually only 1 win off the normal amount of points needed to stay in the league. They're unbeaten in 5 matches. They've won 3 consecutive home games, and it's largely down to their key man is Corrido yet again. 4 shots, 2 on target, 3 dribbles, 100% completed, 88% pass accuracy. What a signing he has turned out to be for the Seagulls. And another man we have to talk about, Glenn Murray. He was bullying the Arsenal backline all day, wasn't he? He got his 13th goal of the season. He's averaging a goal every 129 minutes in all competitions. That is better than Jamie Vardy, who's averaging one every 174 minutes. And he'll probably be on the plane with England at the World Cup. So should Glenn Murray go to the World Cup? Vote in the poll up
Best
there.
comb over.
Definitely not.
Best comb over since Bobby Charlton as well.
100%, absolute sweepage.com. He's averaging a goal every 150 minutes in the Premier League alone. And I think there's only 4 players in the league that have actually got better minutes to goal ratios than that. And that's Sterling, Aguero, Kane and Salah. That is pretty bloody impressive.
Yes,
Only Aguero
Glenn.
and Salah, in fact, have scored more goals than Glenn Murray in the Premier League in 2018. Aguero's got 9, Salah's got 7. I think Glenn Murray has 6. He has been on fire. And yet again, that Pascal Gross combination was fruitful. That's the 4th time he's assisted Big Glenn in the Premier League so far this season. That's actually the 3rd most successful partnership in the league. I think Azpilicueta to Morata has happened 6 times, and De Bruyne to Aguero has happened 4 times. So Brighton getting some real success out of Gross and Murray.
Yeah, that first ball was divine, man.
I know, man.
So
It's
good.
absolutely fantastic. Arsenal, though, haven't kept a clean sheet in 11 Premier League games. For God's sake, Wenger, just announce you're leaving so that then everybody starts to get behind you and wants to give you a good send-off. Because at the moment, the club is rotting. Mkhitaryan looks like a joke. Thanks very much for Sanchez.
Next suggestion comes from @the_Ram_Deuter, and he's put Bayern München in there because they're about to win another league title.
Shock, it'll be their 6th consecutive Bundesliga. They're now 20 points clear of 2nd place Schalke after they battered Freiburg 4-0 away from home. Thomas Müller at the epicenter of all that was good for the Bavarians. He scored, created 4 opportunities for his teammates and played a crucial role, didn't he, in 2 other goals as well. What a player he is turned out to be under Jupp Heynckes on that right-hand side. He now has 102 league goals for Bayern Munich. Only 3 players have more for the Bavarians, but can you name who they are? Let us know in the comments below. Bayern Munich. They've scored 12 goals in their last 3 Bundesliga matches against Freiburg. I think it's fair to say they like playing against them. Jupp Heynckes, in fact, hasn't conceded a single goal against them, and he's played them 5 times. Jupp Heynckes, what an appointment he's turned out to be. Because Carlo Ancelotti was a mess at the start of the season, now they're 20 points clear.
Yeah, what's German for slapped about? Because it happened this game. But what we didn't see coming was the quality of Corentin Toliso's goal that put them 2-0 up. It was an absolute humdinger, his 3rd of the season in the Bundesliga. Scored a few in the Champions League, hasn't he? Not many in the league, but he's a deep-lying playmaker. Was this goal of the weekend? Probably, in my opinion, that or Messi's free kick. Don't know if you can think of any other candidates. Let us know in the poll or the comments. This is a democracy. But that was only one of 17 shots that Bayern created on the day in comparison to Freiburg's 5 guys. I could smash a 5 guys.
Me
I'm
too,
starving. With the home side only mustarding one on target. Mustard also in 5 guys. What's happened? To the Bavarians 5. Now, such is the dominance of Bayern this season that 17 shots is actually 1 shy of their match average of 18, which is absolutely crazy. More alarmingly for the rest of the league, Bayern are able to rest key personnel in this game, benching Lewandowski and Robin, as well as Martinez, I think, who has been in and out of the side this season, drafting Bernat and Wagner instead. Wagner with that cheeky little, I aspire to have that sort of facial hair. It looks like a Bond villain. But they're also without the likes of Rodriguez and Koeman, still winning 5-0.
Easy.
Pretty scary, really, isn't it? Wagner now has 3 in his last 5, although they've been from a combined 34 centimetres, all of them. And Bernat could have had a brace on the night. He had 3 shots.
Comfortably.
He should have put one of them away. Next up for Bayern, second bottom Hamburg, and then Besiktas, who they smashed 5-0. So easy streak for Bayern at the moment, isn't it? What else can you say? Sehr gut. Last but not least, it's West Ham, Moisey, and the rest of that travelling band of... And this comes from Game Hunters, UK.
Oh dear.
Moisey.
I mean, when we said at the start of the season that they had the worst summer of any team, it's almost like we predicted this. They got smashed 4-1 against Swansea away from home. Moisey claiming it was embarrassing and impossible to assess.
That's literally your job, David.
I mean, this is almost as bad as when he said Manchester United need to improve in all areas, including passing, attacking and defending. Well done, David. Obviously, goals on the day from Key, Van der Hoorn, King and Ayew before Antonio got a consolation in the 78th minute. West Ham now 14th, just 3 points off of relegation. On the day, they did have 55% possession. They did muster 7 shots, but they got just 2 on target. And their away record is an absolute disgrace in the Premier League. They've now conceded 37 goals away from home this season. That's the most of any team in the league. And in fact, their actual record reads terribly. Played 16, won 2, drawn 6, lost 9. They've conceded 3 goals or more in 13 games this year. What is going on? That's 45% of their matches. Honestly, they've got, I think, got 9 games left this season, and only 3 of them are against teams in the bottom half. This West Ham side are in big trouble.
On the flip side, they also flip things at Five Guys. Definitely getting a 5, guys. Carvajal's good work continues. They were bottom in late December, and now they're 13th. Lucky for some, above West Ham on goal difference. What a turnaround from the man who is a constant source of golden analogies.
Punnage.
Anyway, he now has won 17 points from 9 games. Wow. Clement won 12 from their first 18. So, a brave appointment, as you know, after he was released by Sheffield Wednesday, but one that is paying dividends now. Well done to the Swansea board. They have now scored 14 goals in 9 games under the Portuguese. Only scored 11 in 20 before that. So that sort of a bit more licence up top is proving to be the difference, isn't it? Their key player was Key, whose contract is up, come back to Celtic with 2 shots, 1 on target, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 tackles and an 88% pass accuracy. It's a pretty good performance from him, isn't it? He's had a hand now in 3 goals in his last 4 Premier League games, having played 14 before that without a goal contribution. Jordan Ayew, did I say that correctly? Yep, moving on. Jordan Ayew also played well. 2 shots, 2 on target, 5 completed dribbles, which was a match high with an 84% pass act, a goal and 4 tackles too.
Impressive that. 4
so
tackles.
Really, the Swansea players are seemingly just trying harder.
Pretty much.
Maybe he's a good man motivator, who knows. He now has 10 goals and 3 assists as the Ghanaian. He's putting 61% of his shots on target. Actually better than Mo Salah at current rate.
Whoa, have you just called Jordan Ayew better than Mo Salah?
I mean,
no, he hasn't. I mean,
what?
Definitely not.
They now have games against Huddersfield and Southampton, so they could effectively seal safety with 2 wins against them, one would imagine. So that puts them in the sort of 40-point region.
Does it?
Not sure. Gambled. But
risk it.
Swansea. Welsh.
So that's the end of winners and losers, Hamster, but what's happening on ERU?
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Or it is a good one, depending on what time you're watching this. But we have Barca Atletico, we have Napoli, bit of Juve, bit of Guillaume Balaguer. He's back, baby, after last week's absence. And he's got something to say about Diego Simeone.
Ooh.
So come on over, baby.
Bye.
See ya.